Greenland center guy.
Okay, let's start.
No.
No? What were we talking about before? We were talking about feet pictures.
Nice. We're talking about...
Should we respect people who like feet? Matthew thinks not.
No, I think indifference is worse than hate. Just indifference. Just you do what you do. You like feet?
I'm not answering that on a fucking Instagram live. Are you fucking insane? I'm not answering this shit. Do I like feet? No, I'm not. I have no idea.
Put a lot of comments in the chat if
No.
you think he should answer this question.
No, please don't. No, I don't like feet. No, we were talking about the Camus Nights. So apparently Matthew has found a bookstore in Barcelona which only sells French books. And they have a Camus night where...
Camus evening, yes.
Camus evening,
There's
where very French people come in and they read Camus to each other.
Camusian.
Camusians.
Yes.
I want to go there, although I don't speak French.
You know, Camusians are everywhere. Like in Japan, like Camus is very influential, and you have actually these groups everywhere around the world because he was so influential.
People can be a groupie about anything almost, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just want to take like a giant edible and go there just to see. Just to see. It would be fun. I'm serious. Like, call them after the podcast. Check them. If they're on tonight, let's go. Let's take edible and let's go. It will be fun.
Yeah, I can check it out.
Because I can tell them I just finished The Rebel and I finished The Stranger this month. I refuse to talk about The Rebel at all. I will not even do a review. I don't know what the fuck to say.
Really?
Like, to synthesize what it is actually about, like if I have to put it into words and explain that in a minute. Maybe I could. I don't know. I haven't tried. But the Stranger was nice.
Yeah.
The Stranger is nice. That is like a bit normal level book. It's less insane. That I can do. But The Rebel, I mean, it's essentially he's analyzing so many philosophers from 18th, 19th century, specifically Marx and Nietzsche. Then he's giving his opinion, he's agreeing, he's disagreeing, he's trying to figure out political environments, democracy, monarchy, socialism. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It starts with the characterization of what a rebel is, someone who doesn't follow rules, someone who rebels, and then the nobility in the action of a rebellion itself. Not a mass rebellion, just an individual standing up against the system, essentially, right? And then he starts going on from that further and further in. And at some point, I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know. The White Moguls, you see that? That book there?
Yeah.
The White Mogul was a lot better. So this guy is a niche. His name is, I can't pronounce it always, William Dalrymple. Years ago, this guy started writing books. And the books are specifically about 1700 to, let's say, 1900. History of South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. The fall of Mughal Empire, British coming in, all those various factions in India fighting each other, and how British sided with one to beat another. British took over very slowly and gradually. It almost took them a century. So he wrote, I have read a book from him called Delhi, the City of Jinns. It's because Delhi is one of the most ancient cities. In West, you don't realize it. But I would put it with Istanbul, Jerusalem, Delhi, like it's that kind of a city. Then he wrote another book I read, The Last Mughal, which I love. It's the last Mughal emperor who was deposed by the British in 1857 rebellion. And because before that, India was controlled by East India Company. Because of the 1857 rebellion and the British loss of life, the Crown of England officially took over India in 1857. And it came under the Queen.
Okay.
Before that, it was run for a century under a company. A place which is bigger than Western Europe and richer at that time was run by just a company for almost over a century. Well, they didn't have the whole continent. Partially, they started with Bengal. For a century, it was just British East India Company running it until 1857. So he wrote a book, Last Mughal, that was very great. White Mughal is a good book, to be honest. But he has recently wrote like 2 more books, but it's becoming a weird thing that there's Scottish guy and he keeps writing about Indian history.
Mm.
And because he's white, Indians and Pakistanis read his books a lot more than thousands of their own writers' books about their own region, about their own history.
They have to go through.
Yeah, somehow his books in India, Pakistan about their own history are more famous than any Pakistani Indian writer, although I assure you there are many. There are like at least 20 books here about South Asia history above us. So, and it's getting to a point where I'm like, okay, you wrote 3-4 good books. They were very specific. Now he has gone to those generic topics which really sell, like the books like Silk Road, where you just start narrating a generic history of the whole region connected. You're not specifically, because White Mughals is about a very specific thing. It's about these Britishers who came into India for a specific time, and instead of acting like British in India, they just went Indian. They became Naboobs. They had like long beards. They married local women, had local children, harems. They converted to Islam or Hinduism. Some of them, grown men, got circumcised for women, for love and marriages.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big commitment. So that book is about very specific time period where British were coming in, but they were not like taking over, but they were being part of the system. The White Mughals is a very good specific book. But now he's just writing generic books, and it's just, I don't know. It's like he found a niche. It sells.
Yeah.
So after a point, he has lost, I think, his real calling. And now he's just like, yeah, every 2 years, I'm just going to write a generic book on Indian history because of my name. It will sell.
Right.
And I'm done. Sort of like Dan Brown.
No, Dan Brown.
Have you read Dan Brown?
No.
You know him, obviously.
No. Dan Brown.
Da Vinci Code.
Okay.
Angels and Demons. Digital Fortress. Deception Point.
He has his audience, and I guess it's easier if you have the whole audience already ready to buy your book.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Brown, I read, obviously, Da Vinci Code when the book came out. It was very famous.
Yeah, it was.
And the movie was very famous. I actually think Angels and Demons is a better book, if you read the book. Then I read Digital Fortress. Very good. Deception Point or Inception Point. I don't know. There's a book called Point. Those 4 books were decent. But then this guy got so famous. Tom Hanks was in his movies. Da Vinci Code is Tom Hanks. Angels and Demons is Tom Hanks.
Right.
And then he wrote another book called Inferno. And Tom Hanks is in Inferno as well.
Yes.
But by the time of Inferno, the quality of the literature was going down. And here's a weird thing. When he wrote Digital Fortress, this character of Tom Hanks is not in this book. Inception Point, Tom Hanks is not there. He wrote Angels and Demons. Tom Hanks' character was there. The book was not very famous. He wrote Da Vinci Code with the same character. It became... And then every single book afterwards is Tom Hanks' character.
Okay.
So he stopped writing literature. He figured out, the book with this character sells. He just put that character in every book.
Recipe.
There's this American professor, and somehow he's just traveled. He's roped into every major controversy related to history and art throughout the world.
Right.
They don't have their own professors, the British, the Turks, the Indians.
They need the minds.
No. There's this guy in America, in one university, who needs to be pulled down.
We need this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually at the beginning of the book, every book, he's swimming.
Okay.
And they're telling you he's like around 40, 45, but he still has a very nice body. And then an issue happens, and Professor Langdon is his name. Professor Langdon is needed somewhere.
Right.
And although he's like not very handsome and he's not very sexy, I don't think he has a big dick or something. But somehow there's a beautiful European woman in that book who just falls in love with him. And when the next book starts, that woman is never to be found. Although this guy is a gentleman, he's not like jumping around. Yeah. And then they usually mention just one line. Oh, and Jessica decided to pursue her career in naval biology and she left.
Right.
Somehow it's never his fault. Yeah. He never fucked up. He never cheated. He never went on Tinder or something. It's always the girl just left him. He was such a gentleman.
Went with the student or something.
And Tom Hanks is like 60 years old or some shit in real life. And he keeps just coming in these, cashing in these movies, Right. I love these guys whose prime has passed. Everyone knows these movies come out and they don't do well, but they still get paid and they still show up for the check. How many failed Indiana Jones movies have arrived in the last 25 years?
I haven't watched Indiana Jones.
So there were 3 original movies. When Harrison Ford was younger, there were 3. I think one is about the Ark. Second one is about Temple of Doom. It's in India. The third one was called The Last Crusade. It's about it's again about the Ark and immortality in Jesus. And these three were hit. Then they tried one movie with Shia LaBeouf. You know him?
Yeah.
He was his kid.
Yes.
That failed badly. Then they gave it a rest for like
Mm.
8, 9 years, 10 years or something, whatever it is. Then they recently made another movie. This one is... The Shia LaBeouf one was about aliens. This one is about... They time travel.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Somehow the archaeology movies have become sci-fi. He
Yeah,
time
yeah.
travels.
But you have to make it bigger and bigger every time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Jurassic Park. You have to make it more.
What's the
crazier.
name of that famous Greek philosopher who was amazing? Like Da Vinci, he made inventions and as well. I think it was Archimedes.
Archimedes? Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one who was defending against the Roman soldiers, the city in Sicily. He made these mirrors to burn the Roman ships from a distance to
Mm.
catch the sunlight, and by a lot of reflections from the
Okay.
castle walls, he was trying to burn Roman ships on the
Okay,
sea.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
and he succeeded by the way,
Okay.
which is insane.
Okay.
So they made a time travel movie where they actually go and meet Archimedes for a bit.
And the Nazis are in every movie, right?
Nazis are in almost every movie they
Every
make.
movie.
Hitler as well.
Just find a way. You
Just
said
find a way to put Nazis in.
I think your guy is busy. Yes.
I think Americans have only agreed one time in the last 100 years that there is one faction which is actually evil. Nazis.
Yeah.
Russians have changed, Soviets has changed,
Mm.
Arabs, they're bad, they're
But
good.
Nazis are constant.
Fuck Nazis.
Constant fuck, yeah.
But the only issue is now
Well, now.
the government is Nazi.
I think they are speed running. The US government right now is speed running being hated. Like the pendulum swing went from left to right.
Mm-hmm.
And they are speed running to go back to the left. Like they're trying to be actually. Have you seen what they did on Twitter? The White House.
What?
So you know there's this AI thing, Ghibli. You know Ghibli? The
Oh,
movies,
the studio.
the studio.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's this-
Recently they AI'd some stuff which should not have been
Yeah.
because the guy was very against it.
I mean, but ChatGPT, you can actually create this. You take a picture and it makes it Ghibli, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the White House, they made one of a nice agent deporting an illegal woman who was crying. And they posted on Twitter, like the White House. If you go on the White House Twitter,
The official page of White House.
official White House page on Twitter, the official thing posted a Ghibli version of a ICE agent deporting a woman, and she's crying.
Have they gone nuts?
And the thing is, in real life, this woman, she's a fentanyl dealer. Like she's an actual person. But in the picture, if you have no context, she's just like a poor woman crying, but she's being deported by an ICE, and the ICE agent looks like this evil white guy deporting her. And I'm thinking, are you dumb? Like, you win by landslide. You have full control of the government. You have complete approval.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're just trying to be cartoonish evil at every occasion.
I don't think they're trying.
Yeah, I think they just...
They are.
And I remember... and I think this quote that I like is, the cruelty is the point. The cruelty is the point. And I'm thinking, look, these people, this right-winger, Maga, whatever, they truly, just the same way as the left, they truly don't understand people, like normal people in the middle, who kind of agree, like, because Trump got elected for this, right? Like, let's cut the borders, let's be America first, let's kick out illegals, whatever. Okay, that's what they want.
Crazy brown people.
But the thing is, can you do it and not, be cartoonish evil on top of this? Like, can you not? Because I'm starting to think that even people who voted for this are starting to get a bit weird out. Like, okay, I agree with this fundamentally, but I don't want to see this show of like, oh, yeah, let's kick them out, like be like cruelty, like actual.
The bigger issue here is that the last 20 years, America is not a democracy, but American public believes it's a democracy. And the world at large could be told that we are a democracy because of all the ceremonies, the way they were constructed and demonstrated. I think the issue is in the last 6 to 7 years, especially with Biden, because it became so painfully evident that that man should not even be allowed to drive a car, let alone run America. It was obvious to everyone. It was so obvious that even left wing doesn't matter. So we reached a point where left realized we have a compromised president and the Democratic Party, but we are not going to do anything because that will be a win for the right or the Republican Party. I think the issue is that we reached a point where it's obvious that people are going to put party interests above the interests of the country or the Constitution. Then comes Trump, wins by a landslide. Okay. I think the biggest issue I have seen since he has arrived, there's a lot of stuff. I'm cutting staff, I'm cutting this department, I'm saving money here, I'm putting tariffs on these countries, those countries are putting tariffs on me. Now I'm not going to put tariffs, now I'm going to put tariffs. We want Greenland, we want this, I want...
Yeah, he's playing his
I
kind
want
of madman.
I want to marry Salma Hayek. I don't know, whatever not me, Trump. Just want to correct this,
Trump.
by the way. Trump, not me. I think the real issue is what they did with that student who protested for Palestine.
Yes.
That is the core of the issue. What they're doing is they're using an early 1950s law where the state is given the power that if you have a green card, which is not a citizenship, the state can tell you to leave because you are on a visa process here. Why? Because we do not agree with certain things that you're doing. These kinds of laws exist when you have a person like, I forget the name of the French guy who came over in Thomas Jefferson time, who was inciting revolution in America because French Revolution had happened. And Washington and Adams, but these guys were very against him. Jefferson was for him. These laws usually are limited for someone who's a massive, big political agitator who is going to take control of your country from inside out and change its trajectory. So you use this law against him. You're here as a guest, and now you're interrupting the entire political process of our country. It's usually for someone who's a massive political threat. Okay. They are using that law on some student who did a protest for Palestine in some university.
And this is a party of free speech, by the way.
But that even is the problem. Both parties should be the parties of free speech. It's a part of their constitution, which they legally want to uphold. It should not be a party thing at all if it's in constitution. Otherwise, repel it or something. So now what you're saying basically is that there is no free speech in America. Well, there was never really free speech. But my point here is in the last 6 or 7 years, the curtain is being ripped apart in such a way that it has become impossible for the public and impossible for the media to maintain the decorum that we are a democracy. Now you're saying there's no free speech. If you protest against the people who actually are our state allies, you're going to be thrown out of the country. The entire machinery of the state will come into action to get you out of the country because you supported someone and it is not again in our state interest. What does it say really? It says that the public of a country will not be allowed to go against whatever decision the governments have made. That is monarchy. That is dictatorship. That is the definition that the government has decided something and the public needs to shut the fuck up. You cannot go against it.
It's totalitarian.
Exactly. So my point issue is not with these small things. It's this base thing, which makes the argument very obvious of what America is now. And I think American public and everyone knows it. But people, because of tribalism, will ignore it. And America is already dissolving under their feet. It's going to keep dissolving. At some point, one of these parties will take power and they will not give it back. That's basically where this is going.
Right.
Because it cannot keep going back and forth. You are in charge, you do things. Next time I become in charge, I nullify everything you did, I do things. Then you become in charge, you nullify everything. How long can this go? How long will this go? It cannot go forever. You are supporting the massive financial and banking and pharmaceutical and military institutions. I am supporting techno-feudalists and these kind of massive personalities. It's in your interest that things stay stabilized so everyone makes money. It's in my interest that we rock shit up and we do weird shit. So eventually, financial groups are already not aligned now. They have also picked a party. Used to be they used to fund both. Petrol would fund both. Pharma will fund both. They have picked a side now. Each has a side. So the big banks, the Citi and Goldman Sachs and Lehman, they are going with the Democrats. And all the big personas, they're going to go with the Republicans now. So you're in a weird situation where you have senator and congressmen just plainly lying. People are just putting their videos side by side.
Right.
Marco Rubio is like, free speech. 2 years later, no, if you say something which we don't like, screw you.
Right.
To me, in a way, it makes me happy because it's something I've been saying for years. America is not a democracy. People just
Not anymore.
Hasn't been, honestly, since Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah.
Under the hood, in Lyndon Johnson times already, America was not a democracy. It was very not in an idealistic way, even in a practical way, it was not a democracy.
It's crazy because I told you I'm reading Tocqueville, Democracy in America.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening because to him, America was the ideal democracy.
Yeah, it was.
He
At
said
some point. It was a great experiment.
It's the only democracy that doesn't come from aristocracy. They had nothing before. It was pure egalitarian society. Everyone was an immigrant. And you had some differences between the North and the South, obviously. You had some sort of kind of aristocracy in the South, kind of. But mostly America was pretty equal, at least when it comes to white people, obviously. He's also addressing the issue of Indians and black people, but that's a different topic. And he said really America it has everything, but at the same time he identified risk, like things that could make this end. Namely, the despotism, new type of despotism, and it's actually very relevant if you read it. And individualism, and also the dictatorship of majority. And he explained how the American democracy is organized to avoid this. But right now, if you look at it, it's falling apart. Every single apparatus is falling apart, and the only one that is kind of resisting is the judges. And I read all of these mega people saying, what are these judges going against the government? The government is the will of the people, and the judges should just shut the fuck up and let us apply. We won, and we won all the way.
Because judges have blocked some of Trump's orders right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And they say, but it's anti-democratic. Like, we won the election, so we should go all the way. But Tocqueville explains very precisely why the judges and everything is such a critical part of America. It's like, if you don't have this, you don't have a democracy in America. Simple as that. These are not just counterpowers. These are actual integral parts of how democracy and stability is in the US. And if you take this out, it's over.
Obviously, because it's idiotic to say the majority of the country elects a person. If theoretically we say that whatever that person does is the will of the people, then we are postulating that whatever that person does is by definition correct. Okay. What if he goes and shoots someone in the face? Did the people shoot the person in the face, or did the person shoot someone in the face?
This is the
is he above the law?
Yeah.
Does the law apply? Because if it's the will of the people,
this is from this movie with Dick Cheney, like whatever the U.S. president does is legal because
and
he's
he was able to really postulate it successfully, and he
in the war
he enforced a lot of power in the office of the president. But that's what I mean. It cannot go. The will of the people cannot be above the law defined by the people as well. And there's a process to repeal laws and change laws. There's a legislative body. The reason you select people is because there's a legislative body of people who are going to change laws. And that is not so easy to do. Because now suddenly you need 70% people to pass a law and all that. And that's not so easy because people don't like to agree to each other. And they're from different states and they have different backers.
And what they do is they have these very weird laws where they vote for example, education. But in this law, you have a ton of unrelated things. Yeah.
Because who the hell is going to read 100-page law? Yeah,
it's like an agreement. It's like, I will vote for your education law if you put something about gun control in it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these things which are passed.
It's crazy.
Recently, there was a law passed, unrelated thing, and they were sending like few $billion to Ukraine in the law.
Yeah.
They do weird shit all the time with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know. But America, it's it's worrisome. That's why I do not want to move to Central America, as we discussed last time. Because there are certain people who sometimes ask me about Panama. But, I'm like, it's too close to America.
It's too close.
It's too close. Central America is too close to America. There's a good chance America is going to get nuked someday, and I don't want to be close by. So,
Only places.
but Central America is quite
Chile,
beautiful, actually.
Argentina. Yeah, it's nice.
Beautiful. The
Beautiful,
nature,
very
I mean.
nice, yeah.
Recently, I've been researching a lot.
Mm.
So, quite beautiful. But
Mm.
Trump also wants to take over the Panama Canal, of course.
You mean the America Canal?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the Gulf
oh,
of
yeah.
America, and
Apparently,
you know.
Panamanians are not happy about this.
no, we are not.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so upset.
Mm. But America paid for it, so we should have it.
Yeah, like more than what, a century ago?
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it's Trump. What do you expect?
And they did legally leave. You know where Vance is? Vance, the vice president of America.
Mm.
You know where he is right now?
He was Greenland, I think. Yeah. But he cancelled. It was cancelled, I think. No, the wife was supposed to go too, but she cancelled because.
Yeah. So he's in Greenland, but he
Mhm.
limited his tour. But he is in Greenland.
Right.
And he very gracefully, there was a reporter, someone asking,
Mm.
he has very gracefully ruled out the use of force to take Greenland.
That's nice.
Very,
Kind
generous
guy.
of him. And a good guy. I mean, he's a chill guy.
Yeah.
He said that we believe what's going to happen is the people of Greenland will use their free will to vote against being with Denmark. Once that is done, they're divorced essentially.
Mm.
Then we're going to have a conversation with them, and I'm pretty sure they will join us because it's a very good deal.
Mm. Mm.
They really want Greenland.
Right,
Trump is
they
going.
do.
I thought it's like the normal rhetoric. He really wants Greenland.
Mm.
I get the military strategical reasons why he wants it, early warning system, missile blocking and all. I
Mm.
get the reason. But you don't just get to take massive amounts of land. But that's what people forget. That's what Americans did. When America was originally formed, they didn't have 50 states.
Mm.
They had less than 20.
Right.
They basically had the eastern seaboard. That's it. They bought and took
Mm.
a lot of land.
Mm.
French, by the way, sold them a
French,
lot
yeah.
of land.
Mm.
Spain, by the way, sold them a lot of land as well. So, yeah. Funny world.
I don't understand. Maga doesn't seem like they understand the idea of hegemony, because they want Greenland, and in some ways they could have it. They could have bases there. They could have an agreement with Denmark and say, look, we can put a ton of soldiers there.
Yeah.
And
They already have them
whatever,
everywhere in the
yeah.
world.
But for some reason they want to pull out of NATO, and at the same time take control of these territories. It's like,
They want to make their own buffer zone. Europe was their buffer
Yeah.
zone. Now they think Europe... I don't know honestly what the fuck Europe is doing, to be honest. I don't understand. Soviet Union was America's enemy. Soviet Union collapsed. There is no enemy. They humiliated them for 10 years, made a new enemy. Putin comes into power. Why is Europe so adamant in having Russia as an enemy? They are not your enemy. When that pipeline was blown up by Americans, all the investment was from Switzerland and Sweden and Norway. Not Norway, I'm not sure. Germany, perhaps, I'm not sure.
Germany. North
Europe
Stream.
has close ties with Germany for energy, for gas, for petrol. Culturally, there's so much overlap historically. And they don't even want to be your enemy. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you go through Putin's speeches and their diplomatic approaches in the last 30 years. On top of that, apart from having nukes, everyone has nukes up there. They don't have the military capacity anymore to invade Europe. They can't. You need a few million soldiers to be able to do that. Russia doesn't have those people anymore. They don't have the population. What is Europe doing? 500 billion for Germany alone.
Right.
Overall, Europe has agreed to over 1 trillion in armaments in the last 1 to 1.5 months, if you start combining them, French as well. But 500 billion for Germany.
Right.
On top of that, Europe is the only continent where the birth rate is in the negative. So they need immigrants. But they're all over Europe, there are right-wing parties popping up who do not want immigrants. But they want armament. Who are you going to give these guns to?
Right.
Fucking dogs and cats? You don't make any kids. So I don't understand what's happening in Europe right now. There's no population.
Oh, no.
They are going to spend a shitload of money. When
For guns.
when you get into arms race, when you start getting a lot of planes and
Hmm.
tanks and missiles,
And drones.
on this age, yeah, hypersonic missiles and advanced
Mhm.
drone systems and all that shit. You know what's gonna happen when you will have all these weapons?
We want to use it
Oh yeah, you're gonna want
badly
you want to use the toys because
because you have it.
by the
Just-
time you're done having them, you would have created a massive industry which is manufacturing these armaments
Right.
behind you.
Yeah.
That industry has a lot of money,
Hmm.
and that industry is like, use this shit so we can make new.
Hmm.
When they left Afghanistan, they left all their toys there for Taliban to take because people want to make new toys for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how contracts work. More money needs to.
Right.
So you're not gonna spend 500 billion, make all these weapons, and we're like, okay, now we're gonna wait for Russia. No, no, no.
Hmm.
You're gonna find reasons to.
To use it. Yeah.
Also, because like the Americans and the French as well, you need veteran soldiers.
Hmm.
The way you win a war is by very experienced veteran soldiers.
Yeah.
They need experience.
Hmm. And
Germans-
France had some experience in Africa, but it's kind of over now.
France has experience, but it has experience not in a major military engagement on.
No,
a-
yeah, like it's
on a,
very.
But it specialized squads of French army have a lot because they do operations in Africa all the time. So like their Delta, their version of Deltas and SEALs
Yeah.
and all that shit, they have plenty of experience. They do a horrible shit.
Hmm.
But a massive military engagement, maybe British have a little bit, but no one really has proper experience at all.
Hmm.
No one has deployed 50, 80,000, 100,000 soldiers from Europe in the last, I don't know, forever.
Hmm.
Even in Iraq, what British and French must have deployed, what, few thousand, 10,000 at most,
Right.
I don't know.
At most in Afghanistan, something maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a division.
Maybe.
A division is like depending on 15 to 25,000 soldiers,
Right.
depending on if it's infantry or mechanized or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what Europe is doing. I'm worried.
And it's. I mean, I told you about this before, but this generation of politicians, and I don't think they really get it. For them, it's like
War is a game.
It's a game, and it's like, they handle it like they handle education. Like it's just numbers. It's just, we can do it. It's fine. It's, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Fabio is right. He never thinks about politics, never reads about it.
Hmm.
Just spends his time as music. Yesterday he was asking me, we were sitting with me and Matisse and all that. So he was just like, I have a wish list for drugs. I'm like, okay, what is it? He went, what did he say? Which MDMA?
Hmm.
There's another one called, if I'm mispronouncing it, mescaline.
Mescaline, yeah.
Isn't that the one which is taken from the gland in the brain or some shit?
No. I think it is, yeah. But they take mescaline in Fear and Laughing in Las Vegas.
Because there is a drug where
Yeah.
there's a very specific one which is actually taken from a gland in
Yeah.
the human brain and it's
Yeah.
very illegal.
It's
and
like endorphin.
by the way, there's a lot of Egyptian mythology related to that and symbolism. They knew about this shit for some reason.
Right.
And that is apparently supposed to give you the purest psychedelic experience, more than
Mm.
LSD, mushrooms, ayahuasca, or whatever. So you were saying MDMA, mescaline, and I think LSD actually.
Right.
He hasn't done LSD. Maybe he's right. Maybe we're worried about too much shit. We should just get high
Get high.
and not go to clubs.
No.
No,
Too old for this anymore.
no, we're not going out and we're not these kind of people.
Hmm.
People are watching this, just so you know. So, not clubs. No. We just should just
Don't
get
do
high.
drugs.
No, and no, of course not. Just sit and, very
And
very
wait
good
for
people
it,
in the
yeah.
house and just read books and stuff.
Yeah. You won't change anything.
No.
It makes me think of Leningrad before Barbarossa operation,
Mm.
where everyone was chilling because it was a warm summer and everyone was just having drinks and enjoying the summer and everything. 3 months later,
And it's a river city.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful. So
It's
across
beautiful,
river, it's
yeah.
across river city, so must be beautiful terraces and
Mm.
everything. Yeah,
And 3 months later, you have
a few million dead.
a few million. Like a year later, you have more than half the city dead, and it's
The things they were eating.
everything.
I have read stories where they took off the wallpaper from the walls
Mm.
so they could boil the glue.
Mm.
I have read stories where they took off their shoes
Mm.
and they boiled the shit out of the leather so they could cut it and eat the leather.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's just
And you get angry when your Uber Eats order gets late. Me too. I got actually angry a few weeks ago, if you remember.
yes,
And then the Five Guys also delayed my order, so I was double pissed.
right.
As is my right. Five Guys burgers are not great, by the way. I should not be talking about this because I'm fasting, by the way.
It's not great.
No.
For some reason, I liked it a lot. At some point, I was eating every week there, but
Really?
now I cannot because it was a discovery, and I thought, oh, it's nice.
There was recently a debate in the office. I don't know if you missed it. Oh,
I
no,
was
you were
there, I
there.
was there,
You were
yes,
there about
I
the
was
best
there.
burger.
Mm.
Uh,
But the truth is, fast food burgers are not very good. Really. I mean,
it's just one of those things. I think it's an issue of familiarity.
yeah.
Because we've grown up familiar to them, so sometimes it's just nostalgia or something.
But for some reason, sometimes the shittiness is the appeal. I don't know if it's the case for you, but
Oh.
sometimes I like the fact that it's kind of bad, but bad in a nice
Are
way.
we still talking about burgers?
Yes.
Okay.
What about?
Okay, I don't know what you
What about?
The shittiness is the appeal sometimes.
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
No, yeah. It's like Subway. I kind of like Subway. It's bad, but I like it.
Yeah, I like Subway.
But it's kind of bad. Like the
Yeah,
bread
yeah.
is nothing special. The meat, like the chicken, is not so good. But the mix of all of it.
I think it's just familiarity.
Yeah, I think it is maybe.
It's just familiarity.
Yeah.
Now I'm fasting right now, and I really want to eat a
Ah,
fast food
okay.
burger and fries and nuggets and all this shit.
Right. Let's not. Let's
It's
not.
okay. I can handle it. I start.
Let's go back to the comfortable topic of the end of the world.
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm getting. Our last podcast, which I'm in the process of posting right now, is also so much about moving and end the world. I think we talk about it too much.
That's my feeling. It's tiresome. Kind of.
It's gonna end. It's gonna end. Let's just have a lot of sex behind. No, eat food and
eat
read
food
books.
and
Yeah.
meditate and journal. And
Exactly. That's what I meant to say.
And
Thank you.
deadlift.
Thank you for correcting it.
Deadlift.
What about them Latinas?
Let's cut the podcast now.
You don't want to talk about that topic.
Do you want to?
If you want to scare a grown man,
Mm.
you should ask them. Let's talk about Latinas. And
Mm.
a grown man usually gets scared.
Mm. If
That-
he knows what's good for him,
If he knows what's good for him, he
Yes.
usually gets scared and he shuts
he
up.
gets scared.
You should not talk about Latinas.
Right.
Yeah, no. That's not good for your health. I've been told.
I've been told.
I've been told because recently you and me were talking about it when we were having a walk, if you remember. So I did share, and I've been told things,
Mm.
but harsh things.
Right.
Any vacation plans?
Madrid.
Madrid? Oh yeah, that.
Ed Sheeran, man.
Oh yeah, that
yes.
overpriced concert
Speaking
in hotel.
of Latina, yeah. Concert was not so overpriced, but the hotel room was very overpriced.
When is it?
End of May, I think.
Ed Sheeran,
Ed Sheeran.
that that
Ginger
guy.
guy, yes.
I've
Who's-
heard like 2 or 3 songs from him or something.
I just don't understand how can that guy book a full stadium in Madrid for 2 nights and be sold out. There's something about him that just triggers women.
Love sells.
Yes.
Love sells.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
The idea of love sells.
Shape
the idea of
of you.
relationships. Like that guy could do something with a female who had a shape.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna be able to do much. But
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran in May.
Ed
Okay.
Sheeran.
I'm going to Istanbul next week.
Istanbul.
My 7th or 6th time actually.
Okay.
It's probably one of my top 3 favorite cities in the world. Love that city.
I'm meant to go there.
You really should. I can give you some pointers where you should stay. Cheaper
Okay.
and cheap, and you'll be surprised by the locations you can stay on. Like,
Okay.
really
I
good.
should go before the end of the world.
Hmm.
Because I meant to go to St. Petersburg and Moscow, and then now it's a bit more complicated. I hope I can go one day.
I really wanted to go to Russia, but now it's complicated. Have you been to Vatican?
Yes.
St.
Vatican
Peter's?
Museum and everything. I did everything.
So St. Peter's,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I
You've
did.
been to St.
I
Peter's.
did the whole thing.
The first time I went to St. Peter's, that was something.
Mm.
It's a massive cathedral.
Smash.
It's a massive cathedral.
And can you imagine back in the days when this thing was built and you're living in the
That's
countryside?
exactly what I thought.
Okay.
Like
you're
if
just some random girl from the countryside and you go there.
Yeah.
How can you not believe in God afterwards?
I'll tell you an example. So I was born in Saudi Arabia. So my family would go to Makkah like once a month at the very least, if not twice. So Makkah, I don't know how much maybe you've seen pictures. You see the haram we call the black cube, where people go seven circles around that and they do perform umrah, as we call it. Hajj is once a year. Umrah you can do any time in the year. So around it there's a massive complex and a mosque.
Yes.
Massive. It's basically a small city.
Yeah.
It's bigger than anything that you can imagine. Vatican is small.
I know, but I saw about this, and they are building this clock tower right now.
Oh, no, that was 8 years ago. It's built.
Oh, it's built.
So it's like maybe 50 massive
But it's gigantic.
skyscrapers
Yes.
accumulating into that massive clock tower, right? Which is the highest in the world or something.
And
then that is even far removed from the mosque complex at all, which is it's insane. It's a city. So I used to go there as a kid, maybe 1993, 1994, 1992. So I remember the inner area is the old mosque. So it has these beautiful old school 4 minarets, vertical minarets, right? And my father used to make me watch a lot of wrestling. So, and obviously my mother told me, we're here, this is the house of Allah, the house of God. And they're doing their thing and I'm just sitting there chilling as a kid. I would look at those minarets, they were so big, and I would be like, that's Allah, that's God. That must be God. Yeah. Makes sense. It's so big. It's that, and the second is Hulk Hogan. That was my child brain. It's like that, and the second person is Hulk Hogan, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, now imagine you're in 17th century peasant going to Rome, and you go into St. Peter's, and you look at that roof.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that how high is it or how big is the art there.
The art, yeah.
It's so real. The beauty which they have painted, the sculptures,
the detail,
the details in the sculptures, in the hands, in the fabric, in the clothes the sculptures are wearing, made out of stone. And then you see all the Gregorian chants and this, and now you're moving, and in the long distance you see the seal, and you see the Pope sitting somewhere. And you've heard about the Pope since you were a child. They have been popes since the time of Charlemagne. It was the Pope who crowned him the first Holy Roman Emperor, the seat of St. Peter's. Peter, one of the first apostles of Jesus Christ. And now you see you can't get close. You can only see from a distance. I don't even know
if you can get inside if you are like
I'm not sure. Maybe on some ceremonies sometimes open to public. Because I know that there was a lot of buying. You had to pay a lot to get small things to be able to go into heaven to eat, whatever.
Yeah.
How will you not believe in God?
Right.
And in every city in Europe, the cathedral had to be the highest building. Nothing else could be built higher than that. So in Germany, all these small cities, you go to that cathedral. Now we see in the middle of, now flatten it out. Everything is flattened. And then you can see probably if you're like 30 kilometers away and you're approaching a city out of the green and you see the small city, you can probably see the cathedral 30 clicks away. Because it's the only thing standing out. Small walls, and that's how what you saw probably. Of course you believed in God.
Right.
It's awe-inspiring. I think the second biggest cathedral in Europe is actually in Sevilla.
Yes.
That's the second biggest one, where Christopher Columbus is buried.
It's big.
It's very big. Have you been?
I've been around, yes. I've been there.
Have you seen the tomb of Christopher Columbus?
No, actually no.
Work of art.
Okay.
It's basically 4 people on each side, massive statues, amazing, gold work in them. And they have the sarcophagus on their shoulders. And in the sarcophagus is Christopher Columbus, the mass murderer and genocidal maniac and rapist. And completely honored by the Spanish government, of course. I'm very surprised that Barcelona has Christopher Columbus thing. This is such a liberal city. They would have taken it down by now, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's the kind of thing they don't really talk about. It's just there, and they don't really. It's like Plaza España, It's like, okay, it's there, and
we allow it.
Yeah, we allow it, and That's like I told you, Barcelona was designed by Madrid, right? Madrid designed everything in Barcelona. Barcelona basically no say in how things were built historically.
I recently realized I used to watch a lot of Joe Rogan, and I've stopped.
Man, Joe Rogan is I'm not going to say anything.
Why?
Because I only say bad things about other podcaster like Friedman.
No one is watching us. We don't need to worry about that shit.
I'm no one.
No one is watching us. Don't worry.
Rogan is.
Look, I used to watch him a lot. My perspective was that he's an idiot, but at the very least, he interviews a very wide spectrum of people, which I like. He gives some people a chance where normal podcasters might not, like pseudoscientists like Graham Hancock, Randall Clark, which I liked. I want to know their opinions. If I agree or disagree, that's different. And whether he agreed or not, he was able to listen to different perspectives, which I value. But then it just, but there's some subjects he has a very hard line on. And if his guest is against it, he goes at them.
Yes, like weed.
Okay, that's a smaller one. Transgender sports, for example, he has a very hard line on. And he's very ill-informed about Muslims and terrorism. So usually he gets a very westernized perspective on things, or he invites people who... He invited few Muslims who are very famous in Muslim circles because they hate Muslims.
Okay.
But he never invited people from the other perspective, ever. That thing, and then he started getting crazy a bit. Now I see some reels from him, and he's taking weird positions, like very high pro-Trump positions.
Yes.
And now recently he has said that fuck Canada, I will never go to Canada, blah blah blah. He has taken a very anti-Canadian position.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not really following.
Because Canada, we don't want to be a province and all that,
Right, yeah, we want Canada to be a province of,
Apparently he has taken a anti-Canadian position. Like, why? Because they don't want to be a province? Or state, or whatever they call it. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe too much testosterone replacement therapy.
Too much validation, too much...
He became too big. That dude was great, but he became too big, I think.
I don't know with details, but I saw on Twitter people getting crazy because he says he invited someone about vaccines and he was approving him. And
who?
Rogan invited some guy that is against, anti-vaccine.
Oh yeah, they're multiple, not just one.
Okay, and who say vaccine had nothing to do with measles and everything. And apparently Rogan was validating him, saying, "Oh yeah, you're right." And oh wow, dude, that's amazing, dude. Yeah. That's Rogan.
Yeah, and also the gesture he does. No way, bro.
No way.
Oh, that exaggerated.
Bro, no way.
No, but that's what I mean. He was very good in the early days when he was doing pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, MMA, which he really knows a lot about.
Right.
Boxing, MMA. If you go to early episodes, he was interviewing porn stars.
Okay.
No joke. Someone told me, I don't know about that. But, so he was doing all of that shit. And I think he was great at that. He was great. He's supposed to be that guy on the far corner just saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's who he's supposed to be. And he's good at that. He's the biggest podcaster in the world now.
By far.
He's mainstream. That is not the guy who should be mainstream, in my opinion. I like him still. He's crazy. If you ask me, would you spend few hours with Joe Rogan just in a person? I'll be fine. That will be fun.
Right.
Crazy shit will happen. That will be fun. It won't be boring with him. That's for sure.
For sure.
But should he be this mainstream, talking about such serious topics for which he obviously doesn't know a lot about? Because he parrots a lot of people, whoever comes in.
Does, yeah.
Yeah. And a similar thing with Lex Friedman. Lex Friedman parrots people who he agrees with. And he can be harsher than Joe Rogan if he doesn't agree with you. What he did with Kanye West was work of art. He basically called Kanye West crazy.
Okay.
You haven't seen?
No, I haven't seen.
Because Kanye West was going against the Jewish people, of course. And Lex Friedman is. So they were going back and forth about that topic. And at some point, it was just fucking weird to watch. Because Kanye basically told him, he told me, you can trust me. Kanye I don't trust you. You're not my friend. I don't like you.
Yeah. Who said that? Friedman?
Kanye,
okay.
To his face.
Because
Lex Friedman was like, you can trust me. No one is behind this stuff and this and this and this. And you're like, but I don't trust you.
No, I don't. There's nothing organic about Lex Friedman.
No.
There's nothing organic. And he just came...
Apart from his father's sperm.
And he's very controlling. He was a... because he presented himself as a MIT teacher, right?
Yeah.
And he's not exactly an MIT teacher. He it's a bit more complicated than that. And people looked into his PhD and
He's
they
like a
tried.
visiting lecturer or something.
Yeah, visiting lecturer. And
Yeah.
the thing is, which is still impressive, but anyway. And people looked into his PhD and they say, it's a lot of bullshit and it's not as great as he presents himself to be. And he blogs them actively on Twitter. If you say something bad about him, he's actually going to block you. He blocked a lot of people, and on his Reddit subreddit, there's a moderation team who's on the lookout.
Okay.
If you say anything weird about his PhD or his credentials, he's going to block you.
Fragile ego.
He's a very fragile man, and he's this guy. This thing about, oh no, but you don't get it. I'm all about love, and I only want positivity. I'm always suspicious of this kind of people because it's a lot of toxicity hiding behind this.
Dude, he interviewed Netanyahu.
Yeah, he
while
did.
that other thing was happening.
But no, it was before that, just
Before
a bit
that?
before that. And
And
fair, he went to Palestine too, and he gave. Honestly, I think it was a pretty fairly balanced position. Like he
It's-
went to Palestine. He
To
went.
me, it's not about the balance. It's about he interviewed Netanyahu.
But he gave
Okay.
no contradiction.
He gave him no contradiction.
He's Friedman.
And basically, the guy sitting behind in front of you is a proper genocidal maniac.
Mm.
He's been at it for almost closer to 3 decades now.
Mm.
There's speeches from Netanyahu from the late 90s, mid 90s, early 2000s, which are extremely explicit about his real intentions.
Mm.
Very explicit.
He put actual terrorists into the government.
Yeah, there are videos in people's home
Yeah.
where he's describing his real agendas and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take anyone's word for it. He's just on record saying a lot of shit which we would consider insane in Islam. No, that's just conspiracy theory. About why they're doing it, the coming of Messiah, the building of the temple, the third temple has to be made, this person has to blah, blah, blah. The whole insanity, which is the Greater Israel theory. So to interview that guy, number one, is I don't agree with that kind of shit. Would Lex Friedman would have interviewed Gaddafi?
Mm.
Saddam? Osama bin Laden? No, they would have said, oh, they're terrorists. No, they were. So, I don't know. I don't
But
agree.
what about love, man? There's love.
For fuck's sakes.
Just say something nice about Netanyahu, Just say something nice, man.
About who?
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. Say something nice. I don't know. Fuck. Screw that guy.
Just
Man.
like
He looks...
Zelensky.
I don't even want to... I really dislike this person. He's insane. How can you be so blind at that level for this many years?
I mean,
I get it, he's a fanatic.
at this point, I feel these people feels weird to me. I don't really relate to them because
They're completely gone off the rails.
they have this how do you call it, religious ID, like this it's beyond Zionism. I think it's beyond Theodor Herzl. It's like messianic.
No, dude, Theodor Herzl never wanted any of this shit.
Hmm.
This is after him.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to make Israel in Uganda.
Yeah.
And
Do you know
they
who wanted-
rejected him. He presented it in the Zionistic parliament, the third or fourth iteration.
Yeah.
They rejected his postulation.
Do you know who else wanted to make Israel in Africa?
Who?
The Nazis.
Plenty of land, though.
Eichmann.
Plenty of land, honestly.
Eichmann wanted this. He say, hey, how about we put them all in Africa and we give them Israel? Never happened. They prefer to do what they did.
I don't understand. Like, it's just too much misery for that piece of land and taking it over and over again, mixing religion into this and all. I read this book, Stairway to Heaven by Zechariah Stitchin. It's the second iteration in the 12 Planet series, right? Based a lot of Sumerian text. It's a very, very complicated thing. Sounds funny, but if you start reading it, it's full of proofs and translations. There is no novel narrative in there at all. It's basically all very dry. This translation, this image, this is all basically it. Obviously, he takes in freedom in guessing some things, of course, but it's very eye-opening and heavily factual inference based, anyways. But there is a chance that these Anunnaki people, which he postulates the 12th planet, which basically there's a planet in a bigger sphere. It collided. He names the planets because they're in the text. Earth's original name, that planet's original name, they collided. And a lot of organic material was stamped on top of Earth. Earth went away into its own sphere. Moon was created in such a way as well. And that's why there's this connection, and that planet has a very longer orbit. The orbit and all the charts are basically, by the way, described in quite detail. And those people came in because essentially they wanted gold. In case people don't realize, do you know how gold is made?
Gold?
Gold.
No, not really, no.
So diamonds should not be more expensive than gold. It's just because British companies usually hoard them. So, and diamonds is compressed carbon, basically. Gold is not created on Earth. Gold can only be created literally in a dying heart of a star, a massive star. There's a specific name for those kind of stars. If it's going supernova.
Okay. I didn't know that.
That's the only way gold can be made in the universe.
Okay.
That's how rare it is.
Okay.
It's insane. If you start reading about how gold is made and its properties, it's the best conductor ever. And there's some other properties. Anyways, so the postulation is because of the gold deposit on Earth, these Anunnaki people, who you can, if you want to visualize, you can visualize from the film Prometheus, for example.
Right.
The bigger Homo sapien type
guys.
They came there and they had to dig and they had to do a lot of stuff. And essentially, a very long story short, there were some conflicts, El, Anil, and all of these god names, which are basically names which are present in Sumerian text, and some of them adopted into Egyptian text. There's an Egyptian text which tells the history of the last 50,000 years of their kings before the floods. It's written down history of 50,000 years.
50,000 years.
Which is way earlier than the 12,000 years younger Dry period region. And Sumerian texts also support that, and Assyrians, but Sumerians are the earliest text. And they have a theory that those people had a longer lifespans, those kings. They were around for somewhere around 1,000 and then just declined over time because the genetics got diluted. So the theory is, in short form, that they found these apes and they mixed the genetics to create Homo sapiens, to use them for mining and many other operations. And, for example, Epic of Gilgamesh, which is written in Sumer, he's one of the last ones to be able to actually meet them because they were apparently these rocket space shuttle facilities on Earth. And there's a whole trajectory planned in that book, which starts from a place in Greece. It includes a place in Lebanon and Egypt, the pyramids, for the landing trajectory. And it postulates where the landing trajectories were, where the rocket ships were, etc., which aligns weirdly enough with the Epic of Gilgamesh and the locations because he took a journey. It's very specific, and it sounds funny, but until you start reading it, and then you're like, all of this material exists. This doesn't make any sense. The diagrams are there. The basic physics of it is there. Which, by the way, do you know, 2 weeks ago, they discovered those things under the pyramids?
No. I haven't heard of it.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
LiDAR scan has discovered that under the 3 pyramids of Giza, there are massive structures, coiled structures, going down 2.5 to 3 kilometers, connected to both 3 of the pyramids. Just Google it. Okay. Everywhere.
I will Google it because that sounds nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 3 kilometers
2
down.
to 3 kilometers down.
Okay.
And they're connected to other base structures. It's everywhere right now. It's not just on shitty Twitter. Okay. Like legitimate...
there is a spaceship down there?
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about maybe some sort of a conductor type situation or energy. Because, I don't know, something like that. But no one really knows. Who's going to dig?
French.
Foreign Legion to the rescue.
Give me 6 months and I will get you a McDonald's down there. Yes.
And a baguette. Bhutan. But no, so there's a lot of theories there, like, right? So there's essentially the theory boils down to there has a higher species, came to Earth for gold, needed mining operation, created Homo sapiens for those operations, okay? But all of that doesn't make any sense for normal people because they're like, gold, who cares? But gold is not for jewelry. Gold is an extremely rare thing in this universe. It's made in a very special operation. And it has properties which can actually postulation there is that they want to hang these gold particles in their atmosphere. Because it can, their atmosphere was dying. It can actually, you can read some, there's a lot of theories about that. And gold hang particles in the atmosphere can actually save your planet and atmosphere sometimes. The conduction and all that, sun, there's a lot of complicated theories around that.
Okay.
But I was just surprised by how gold is created when I researched it. So every piece of gold that you have, which your mother has worn or you have a ring,
comes from a star.
Comes from a dying star going supernova.
Okay.
I never knew that.
And not high enough right now.
I'm not high enough either. But I am buying a lot of gold. Because if the alien comes in and they're like, we want all the gold from all of you people. I don't know why they have this accent.
They have this accent for some
reason.
reason.
Don't know. I want a German accent for aliens somehow, like Nazi German accent. Like, we want all the gold.
Gives us the gold.
Gives us a gold. No. So I want to have some gold. And I'm like, look, I have a lot of gold.
It's all yours.
It's all yours. I just want to be in employment, basically. What do you want? You want more gold? Just tell me where to dig. I'll dig. I'll dig. Where's the rocket ship?
Yeah. Make me immortal.
No, just give me like a few more years, like a few decades. It's okay. It's no biggie to you. You guys made us. You can figure it out. I'll keep the others in line. Don't worry about it. Right. I'm very useful.
Right.
So apparently the Anunnaki are supposed to come back in a few decades. The cycle is like there's like a 2600. I forgot the number. It's a cycle. And here's a weird part, which 2 years ago when I read The 12th Planet, a lot of weird shit was happening in the COVID times, if you remember.
Yeah, a lot of shit.
The aliens and the genetics and the birth rates and the war and on and on. Weirdly enough, it's coinciding exactly. And Zikara Station wrote this book some time ago. They're not now. We are very aligned. We are like a decade or two away.
Okay.
From the planet Marduk. It's called Marduk. Weirdly enough, all these names are the names related to the deities in Babylonian and all those regions.
Okay.
So all those Anunnakis, which the first ones, which are mentioned in Sumerian texts, they eventually translate to be the gods in Babylonian times and Assyrian times and all that. They were worshipped as gods. Even in Egyptian pantheon, they are worshipped as gods. And the theory is they were not gods, they were just alien beings here on this specific planet, which is basically a part of our solar system.
Okay.
You should read these books.
To be ready for them when you arrive and just...
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Maybe advanced parties are already here. That's why so much weird shit is happening.
Yeah.
Especially this alien stuff.
Maybe Trump is part of them. Maybe
Musk might be. I think Trump is just Trump is just a big beef bunny.
Yeah.
Red beef.
I wish, man.
I just want to have the drugs that Trump is on.
Yeah, I don't think he needs drugs.
They said he takes them. Like to speed things up.
Maybe.
What is the drug DiCaprio was taking in The Wolf of Wall Street? The white tablets. That's the thing they say that he's on.
Yes. Lube?
Yeah, ludes. I don't know what the chemical composition is, but you probably know a guy. You're French.
No, I don't know. A guy, yes, I know. Yeah, I can find ludes.
You can probably find ludes if you want.
I don't think Trump is on that, but
we should find ludes. Ludes. Let's find them.
Yeah.
Let's do this shit. Why not? Let's find ludes. Just to look at them.
Yeah.
We just want to look at them and maybe give it to neighbor's dog, see what happens.
Right.
Can you imagine?
And beat the dog with stick.
I think that dog is going to impregnate a cat or some shit. But yeah, I don't know. I never like to take drugs which speed me up. Only the ones which slow me down. I'm already too fast. I'm scared shitless of ever taking cocaine.
Me too.
It has become so common in Pakistan, by the way. Everyone is doing drugs.
Yeah, in Europe too, actually. It's much more.
Well, Europe, I mean, it makes sense.
No, but it's much more than I thought it would be.
You're infidels.
Yeah,
You're decadent people.
We are, but...
You're the West. You have no values.
It's true, no values.
Yeah, of course.
We have democracy.
Oh, yeah,
that's it. Individualism, and that's all.
Yeah, very decadent.
Very decadent.
I had this white lady friend, Eva. She came from Holland. We were having a coffee here a year ago or something. I don't know where she went, but she was like, Ali, tell me, I was there. Guys were approaching me and they were saying certain things. Why were they saying these things to me? I don't understand. Why would they make that assumption? And I had to explain it to her that in the East, a lot of people, not everyone, but majority of the men would consider if you're a white female from Europe, you don't have any morals and you're just going to open them up on anyone and anything for no reason. She was like, huh, that's convenient.
Right.
I'm like, well, now you know.
Right.
Now you know. That's how it is. Because you think that Europe is decadent and you have no morals of any sorts or boundaries.
We know how to have fun. No.
That is true. You know what? We should get... Are you getting married soon?
No, that's not planned. Don't push it.
Okay. I think I'm not getting married immediately either.
Good.
Not in the next month at the very least.
Nice.
So why don't we, without telling anyone...
I don't like where this is going.
It's just possible. We would never do that.
Yeah,
this is just for the
like,
podcast.
Yes.
So we could basically say that we have too much work and we need some space. The 3 days in the work are very busy. I mean, I am your manager. I can tell.
True.
I can agree.
True.
And why don't we just take 3 days off on which we are actually working?
Yeah.
And let's just go to Berlin. And because in Berlin, they really know how to have fun.
Never know.
I know some people. I'll make some calls. They'll get in some places. 3 days.
We need to stop recording.
No. It's just a fun idea for podcast. We're not actually
it's
going
just
to do
a
that.
fun,
I mean,
just
come on.
Theoretically.
We are old. We are not going to do that. You're above
Really?
30. I'm near 40. So we're not doing it. It's just...
Serious men.
This is just for entertainment purposes in a
Right.
podcast.
Research purposes.
Of
It's
course.
like
I mean, we would never do
yeah,
that.
It's for
We would never do that.
research.
Yeah.
I've never been to Berlin, really.
You have never been to
No, I haven't been to Berlin. I don't think so.
Okay, we need to talk. Like,
It's too extreme for me. It's too.
we need to...
It's too German.
Just trust me.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
Okay.
You cannot keep postponing these things. These are important.
I'm worried.
I'm already paying the price, because I never went to Ibiza. And now apparently it's frowned upon.
To go to Ibiza?
Yeah.
Depends where you go. If you go...
I said the same thing. I said, I'm going there for the nature.
Yeah, nature is beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I watched... What is that field called where people bird watch?
Where people bird watch?
Bird watch. Like they sit in the
Bird watching?
Yeah, that one. So I said I'm bird watching and nature. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why I want to go to Ibiza.
No, but actually, not the joke, but nature is nice in Ibiza.
I'm not joking either. That's
if you
why
go
I
on
want to
the nature side, you go to Formentera, to these islands around.
I mean, I'm gonna refer to you for this. I completely agree. You've been there, right?
Yeah.
To watch the nature.
I hate Ibiza for the party. It's like full of British people. It's super like, for me it's like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
About the British people?
But honestly,
they're the
it's
worst,
like,
by the way.
It's trash. Like partying Ibiza is like trash.
Who's worse, Australians or British?
British.
British are just...
Fuck, man.
Do you know at Barcelona airport, I don't know if you've ever seen that, there's a Terminal 3.
Yeah.
It's the shittiest terminal. No one knows it exists. It is only there specifically for flights to England.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that?
But in Ibiza, when you come back, you see all these flights to Manchester or whatever, and it's full of people sleeping because they are drunk, and it's not fun, really. I will not go to Ibiza to have fun, to party. I would rather stay in Barcelona.
I was sitting in a burger joint in Amsterdam center. So there was this glass, and you could look at the street. Right across the street, it was a bar, an Australian bar. And of course, there were some British guys there, Of course. And eventually they were kicked out, and they had their mugs in the hand. And those beer mugs, they're big, and they're very thick.
Yes, they are.
And basically, they tried to hit those mugs to the bouncer. And they were successful. But he didn't go down.
Mistake.
I still to this day think, I'm not sure if that burger was delicious or it was just a moment, because I didn't stop for a second. I'm so used to Pakistan. I kept eating my burgers and fries. And I watched the whole fight as if I paid for it. It lasted for like 60, 50 seconds.
Yeah.
But that bouncer, that big fat dude, he was so good with like very, very basic boxing. Very basic. Like a little bit dodge, make you miss, and a cross. And they were drunk as fuck.
Mm.
And he was not.
Mm.
Dude, the punches were so clean.
Mm.
They landed so good.
Mm.
The street was slippery with alcohol.
Oh, nice.
These guys would fall. They wouldn't let go of the
It's
mugs.
beautiful.
And they would get up and they would get punched again. They didn't
Yeah.
have the common sense enough to let go of the mug so they'll have two
Yeah.
hands. And they just kept getting punched and getting up. And they were
Nice.
typical British guys where they have a very skinny jeans, blue skinny jeans,
Mm.
white shoes, and a shirt with the collars open. The very typical thing.
Mm.
And that dude beat the shit out of them. I loved it so much. I finished my burger. By that time, it was done. I get out. The bouncer is just standing there.
Mm.
He's just standing there. And I can be a bit stupid sometimes. So I just went up to him and I'm like, hey, dude. He was like, yeah. I'm like, great work. And I just, and he smiled. And I just went, I'm like, that was awesome. He beat the shit out of 3 guys.
Yeah.
And who got a first hit off on him first? They hit him with a fucking mug.
We have
But
a drop on him.
The club fights are the best because
Mm.
if one participant is drunk,
Mm.
it's one of the best fights to see.
Yeah.
Because it's like someone is beating up a toddler,
Yeah.
which you should never do.
Never do.
You should never hit a child.
Except. Okay,
But no,
No. Okay.
no.
Unless.
And no. You should. There's never an excuse.
Never.
Never an excuse,
Never.
unless no one is watching.
Mm.
But no, and they don't know your name and how to identify you.
Identity, and you can leave a country.
And how to identify you. Or you should do it when you have a big beard and then go home and clean shave yourself.
Mm.
That's by the way what I do before going to airports.
Mm.
If I have a big beard, one day before
Mm.
Ali gets clean
All
shaved, all gone. You can't go with a big ass beard and the name Ali into an airport. It's counterproductive.
Mm. Mm.
You don't have that problem. Look at that
I
beautiful
don't.
set of beard.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem. I do.
Very
What do you
white.
What is this podcast about, by the way? I was just thinking. Someone is watching us. Last podcast we were just talking
What are you
about where
doing
to
with your
move.
life? What are you doing here?
Yeah, why are you watching us?
Open a book. Read
Yeah.
Camus.
Camus.
Read Dostoevsky. Go on a walk. Go on a hike. Find
Yeah.
love.
Find love or make love.
Mm.
Making is better, actually.
Mm.
Finding is a big headache.
There it is.
Avoid Latinas.
Don't. You cannot. The more you try to avoid it, the more it comes to you. They just come to you.
And there are
They
other
choose
dangerous
you.
species as well, by the way. Latinas.
Mm.
Balkans.
Oh yeah.
They're crazy, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really lucky, you'll find someone who is Balkan and Latina.
Oh yeah. That's the double spice.
Oh yeah.
Double spice plus.
Oh. And I've heard like weird shit about Arabic women as well.
Mm.
Like they make you want to break your brain
Right.
as well. So outside of that, you're good. Do your
Mm.
thing. Have fun.
You're doing good.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
If you're watching this, I mean,
I'm not sure if you're watching this. I cannot vouch for you. I hope you're high.
I really hope so too. It's a sunny day in Barcelona. We have talked about aliens.
It's spring.
It's getting to be spring, right?
It's like Leningrad.
Gee, why are you so fucking gloomy all the time? Why did we go to Leningrad again?
French, yeah.
I'm talking about spring and you're taking me to Leningrad.
Yeah, because it was spring, it was sunny, it was nice.
By the way, for any of you normies out there, if you want an easier reference to the Leningrad conversation, there's a movie with Jude Law and Rachel Weisz. Nice sex scene, by the way, in that movie. It's called Enemy at the Gates, and Ed Harris is the great German assassin. Watch Enemy at the Gates.
Is
Eh.
it in Stalingrad?
It's Stalingrad.
Stalingrad, okay.
It does a decent job of showing you what we are actually trying to talk about, I
Right.
guess. It's a
Nice
mainstream
movie.
Hollywood movie, easy to digest.
Classic.
Classic.
Beautiful.
Very, 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 very nice movie, actually, I think.
It's very nice.
You should watch it.
It is.
Jude Law was too handsome in that movie.
He was.
A bit too much for a
Mhm.
Russian soldier.
Mhm.
But okay. Russian men usually are not that good looking. Russian women, though, they're very good looking men. No,
Mhm.
eventually. Because have you seen the memes that Russian women are like supermodels and then they reach the age of 31 and
Yeah,
they're
they
immediately a
explode.
babushka?
Yeah, babushka, yeah. They just turn. It's
Yeah.
like Asian. Asian woman. Like
They also have this thing.
yeah, it's the same thing. They're like beautiful, like nice skin, and everything, and suddenly it's like old lady.
I don't like Far East Asian women, so I have no idea.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, Indonesian, Philippines, all of that does nothing to me.
I'm not really so much into it.
Recently, someone was telling me the most beautiful women in the world are Thai men.
Yeah.
They're like the surgeries are amazing. Apparently,
Yeah. The best women are men.
in Thailand.
Mm.
I've never been to Thailand.
Never.
Somehow I'm scared.
Me never. Yeah, no, it's like. Oh.
I don't think I want to go. Someone was telling me they eat scorpions and stick there as barbecue sometimes.
Yeah,
They take the venom
yeah.
out.
Yeah. But I think it's fine.
But I'm like, why? There's normal food right there. Why would you do this?
Because you can.
That's a problem right there. So when are you moving to a farm?
Too late.
Next year, by the end of the next year.
Eventually, it's too late. Yeah.
No. By the end of the next year, I need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
I need chickens.
Chickens.
I need
Solar
chickens.
panels.
I'm not sure about solar panels, but
Guns.
guns for sure. But I'm not sure. Depends on where.
Mm.
But at the very least, I cannot compromise on chickens.
Chickens.
I want chickens, and I also want a duck.
A duck.
One duck,
Mm.
plenty of chickens. I want that,
Mm.
and a big ass room with a library. I want to make like a big room,
Mm.
and I want to get a library. You know, I'm getting 300 more books.
Of course you are.
300 plus books
From Holland or something?
from other sources.
Okay. I don't want to know.
So I'm getting 300. I already have like 1,000.
Okay.
Close to 1,000 books right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I'm getting maybe 300 more.
That's
So
a lot.
I want to make a library.
Okay.
You know, one of like Beauty and the Beast type things with the ladder which moves.
Yeah, the ladder and everything.
But I won't be wearing a skirt.
No.
No.
Okay, no. Maybe not.
No.
Better not.
Okay.
Okay.
I think let's wrap up the podcast.
Let's.
Because our conversations is going in a direction where both of us are not allowed to talk about again and again.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Someday.
Someday.
No. End it.